Many Waters by Madeleine L'Engle, Chapter 10, The Song of the Stars. Yaleth left the tent and slipped away, to the desert, to the rock where the great lion lay. He jumped down from the rock as she approached, and she ran to him, flinging her arms around his great ruffled neck, and sobbing so that her words were barely coherent. "Grandfather Lamech is dying!" Her tears spotted his fur. When her weeping was spent, the great cat's tongue gently licked her tears away. And then they sat, Yaleth between his front paws, in silent communion. The stars moved in their slow dance, dimmed. Neither lion nor girl moved, but Yaleth, leaning against the great tawny chest, hearing the thudding of the lion's heart in time with the soft singing of the stars, moved into peace. Outside Grandfather Lamech's tent, Denny sat on the old root of the fig tree, Higgaion at his feet. Neither moved. Above them the stars were quiet. Within the tent, Noah held his father up so that the old man could breathe. "My son," Lamech whispered, "you have been a blessing to me and to the land." Noah's tears rolled quietly down his cheeks, onto his beard. "I have been stubborn and stupid." A faint laugh came from his father. "I did not say that you are not human. But you listened to El. I try, father, I try. El has told me that through you shall blessing." The old man's breath failed. "Hush, father, don't try to talk. It is all lost. I listened, father, to you, to El. You will do what? Yes, father, I will do what El tells me, no matter how strange it seems. Yaleth." Noah's tears flowed more freely. "Oh, father, I don't know." "Never fear." For a moment Lamech's voice was strong and sounded almost like one of the seraphim. Then the strength faded, and he spoke in a thin whisper. "El will take care of." Father, don't go." "Don't hold me back, my son, my son." Noah's tears fell like rain. "Our dear twins." "What, father?" The old man gasped, and then smiled a surprised smile of joy, so radiant that it seemed to light the darkened tent. Had lightning flashed to make the smile visible? "Father!" Noah cried, and then, "Father!" And then his sobs broke like waves across the dry sand of the desert. The stars did not sing. The sky was silent. Higgaion sat up, ears alert. Denny's raised his head, and it seemed that the stars were holding their light. And suddenly the bright presence of a seraphim stood before him, and the starlight again fell onto his upturned face. Japheth and Oholibama held vigil for Grandfather Lamech in their own way. They went to the desert, to their particular resting rock, and sat quietly holding hands. At last Japheth spoke. "Thank El that my father and grandfather are reconciled. It would be much harder to bear this if—" Oholibama smiled. "Two stubborn old men. Yes, it is better this way. We have the den to thank for that." "It was a happy day when I first found them in the desert, our young giants. They have taken good care of grandfather." Oholibama sighed. "We are going to miss him, Yaleth especially. She was the closest to him of us all." "True." Japheth cradled her dark head with his hand. "But father says it is best that death has come to get him now. He is too old and frail to stand this trip." "What trip?" Oholibama asked. Japheth's eyes were darkly unhappy. "Oh, my dear one, it is what I promised to tell you. Father says that El has told him strange things, and that he has been given very specific instructions." "What instructions?" Japheth sounded uncomfortable. "Oh, my wife, it is very strange indeed. El has told my father to build a boat, an ark." Oholibama, who had been leaning against her husband, sat up abruptly. "An ark? In the middle of the desert?" "I said it was strange." "Could he have made a mistake?" "El? Not El. Your father. Could he have misunderstood what El was telling him?" Japheth shook his head. "He sounds very certain. He said that El had also told Grandfather Lamech the things which are to come." "An ark!" Oholibama's dark brows drew together. "An ark in a desert land. It makes no sense. Has your father told the others?" "Not yet." Japheth pulled Oholibama back against him. He says they will laugh. They will, Oholibama agreed, but she did not laugh. I have never seen him more serious, Japheth said. What's the ark to be built of? Oholibama asked. Gopher wood. At least we have plenty of that. And then he is to put pitch inside and outside and to make it watertight. From what water? Japheth was silent. She turned so that she could look at him. This does not sound like your father. Japheth spoke in a low voice. Nor does it sound like El. Oholibama stroked his face. We do not know what El does or does not sound like. El is a great mystery. Japheth laughed. So is a big boat in the desert. How big? Oholibama asked. Japheth flung out his hands. 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high. Oholibama asked curiously. El gave those precise measurements? According to father. I don't understand, Oholibama said. I wish you'd had a chance to talk with grandfather. Japheth shook his head, wiping the tears from his eyes. And our twins, Oholibama said. What will happen to our twins now? It is possible they might go on taking care of grandfather's garden and groves, but I'm not sure. Grandfather's death is the beginning of a big change. Oholibama nodded. There are dissonances in the Song of the Stars. Have you heard it? Japheth asked. Oholibama nodded. The song has changed. Yes, I have heard it. But why should Grandfather Lamech's death be the beginning of change? He is a very old man, Japheth agreed. It is not at all strange that he should die, Oholibama mused. Perhaps it is strange that Grandfather Lamech should die, just as El gives extraordinary commands to Lamech's son. Oh, my beloved, Japheth said, you are wise. Sometimes I wish you were not quite so wise. They twined their arms about each other. Japheth put his lips against hers, and they took comfort in their love. When it became apparent that Sandy had not returned to Lamech's tent, nor had he stayed in Noah's, there was great consternation. Noah's sons and their wives had come with Matred across the desert, and stood sadly outside Grandfather Lamech's tent. We haven't seen him, Japheth said anxiously to his father. We thought he was following you. Yaleth reached for her brother. We were so busy with our grief we didn't even think. Noah pulled at his beard. He said he would follow me. Ham said, not unkindly, whatever's happened, we can't look for him now, not with the morning sun rising. Shem explained to Denny's. In our country, in this heat, the dead must be buried quickly. Denny's tried to hide his panic at Sandy's inexplicable absence. Sandy was reliable. If there was a reason for his not having followed Noah to Grandfather Lamech's tent, he would somehow or other send word. How? There were no telephones. But wouldn't he have tried to find one of the seraphim? He wouldn't just have gone off somewhere without telling anybody. Matred put a motherly arm around Denny's. Now we must anoint Grandfather Lamech's body and prepare it for burial at sundown. Then we will leave our grief and look for the sand. There is some reasonable explanation for his absence, I'm sure. And that is where I will pause.